Shalom, shalom. There's one central theme in our Torah that is not glaringly obvious, and that's why I want to talk about it. And that is that everything is connected. We are all connected. And in reality, Ein Od Milvado. There's nothing else but God. And when the Jewish nation was out at Har Sinai, the mountain, and they experienced firsthand God, we're told that they had a sort of death where they left their bodies. And this is really what I think it means is they were totally connected spiritually to the essence of everything that was to God. And in that experience, when people have that outer body connective experience, and this is really unique because it was God imposed and it was true and real, and they got to understand each and every one that there is only God and that everything in the world is unified. And that is the main message. And what does that mean for us? What does that mean? Because we know that the Torah is a book of really not, it's not a history book. It's not, what is it? And it's a guidebook. It's a guidebook for a man to live in a way to have his life to be holy and full, holy, kadosh, and full, that we should be shalem. And we should be, when we're whole and we're peaceful, shalem also means shalom, peaceful, because when you're at one with who you are and the universe at large, you feel a sense of inner peace. So after that whole experience, we have this week's parsha that starts with the word ve, and it says ve'ela hamishpatim, and these are the ordinances, and it goes on to give us all sorts of laws, tort laws, how to deal with other people, civil laws, and they seem so mundane and they seem so counter what the nation just experienced, this unbelievable spiritual experience where they left their bodies and now they're brought back, so to speak, so quickly from that experience to the material, to the physical, to who they are and how to deal with the smallest and most mundane of issues. And I think that that is why God starts, this parsha starts off with the va, the and, the connective vav, to have us to understand that that experience, that spiritual experience, was all for this end of these laws to help us understand that we are connected to one another, that we have to be good to one another, that in order for this world to work properly, we have to understand how to deal with one another in the most effective way, and that we are all connected. And there's so many things to talk about in this parsha, but I just want to point out something that stood out to me very much with this in mind is where they were in it. It talks about, if it says if your enemy, right? If you see that his donkey is crouching under his burden, okay, he's having difficulty, he's stuck. It says that you should help him repeatedly. The Torah tells us to help him repeatedly. Now, what is that? Why is it telling us that if we see someone that we can't stand, that we hate? Okay, first of all, we're obligated to help this person. And second of all, it says repeatedly help until this matter is really taken care of. And the reason for that is look, we can say, okay, we're commanded to help. Well, help, it's still not working. We did our part and leave. But what God is saying, and it uses the most extreme because it doesn't matter if you like a person, if you don't like a person, we are all connected in this world, okay? And if you are there and you're seeing and you're watching this person experience a difficulty, his difficulty is your difficulty. You're put there because it is your obligation. And you have to help like as if it's yourself until that task is completed, because his pain should be your pain. And his difficulty, your difficulty, no matter what we think about him. Because if we were in that situation, we wouldn't care, we would want to be helped as well. And this should be the attitude of how we all get along, because this is the same person who also was there at Sinai and heard God and also has a piece of God for him. And God is telling you, you can't be spiritual and think you're connected to God and then they ignore the God in somebody else. Doesn't work. You're not a religious person if you ignore the God in somebody else. You have to see it and you have to respond in kind and try and work on your own issues and your own feelings and do what you have to do. Do what you have to do in this world. And I think that's really so important. So important to understand um, that we're all connected and we should help one another out. And we should try and make this world a better place, person by person. We start by doing our part and hopefully it will expand outward. And with that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.